So guys, welcome back to the channel. I am ridiculously excited to make this video because we are actually going back to Merida, Mexico here in the next couple of months. I'm going to go through the trip, talk to you about why we're choosing to stay where we're choosing and what we did last time and just the differences there, because I know a lot of you have been asking me questions about the trip coming up that I've talked to on social media. So let's just roll the intro. So as most of you know that have communicated with me on the many different ways. Oh, actually, let's go through that real quick. If you want to communicate with me, please feel free to visit me at any of these social media links. At Alexander from KC is normally where you can find me. I'm active on all of those, but my main jam is Instagram at Alexander from KC. You can also text me directly at 816-727-7740 or visit my website, alexanderhowell.com. Hit the contact us page. It sends it directly to me. And one of the best ways that I've just started communicating with some of you is through our Facebook group, facebook.com/travel to Merida. So the number 2, travel to Merida. And I think we're at a little over 40 members now. So it's growing steadily. But the biggest positive about that group is that I set it up so that you guys ask questions, whether it's to me or anybody else in the group. And there's no catty responses. I don't want any politics in there. It is just, I have a question about if we're doing this in Merida, or I have a question, what was your experience? Those kind of things. You ask, we provide answers. So that's the goal. All right. Getting back to it. So just to catch everybody up, if you're new to the channel, my name is Alexander Howell. I talk about travel and real estate, and we really talk a lot about Merida, Mexico and the area surrounding that in like Yucatan and state of Yucatan. So my wife and I purchased a house in Merida, Mexico downtown, but when we stayed there, we stayed for 4 weeks in a township called Guaymatún, right along the beach north of Merida, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes outside of Progreso, which is kind of the main beach town. Now this place was beautiful. It was kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so you had to take a car everywhere, but you had the beach, you had the pool, you had the breeze. It was absolutely beautiful. We loved it. It was fantastic. But we started realizing that we wanted to buy a place there, and we were staying on the beach, and I'm looking at this house and thinking, wow, it's amazing to be out here, but salt water tends to take its toll on houses. So there was already, they just painted it, but they had some cracking paint. All the faucets, you can kind of see that they're a little bit rusted out. The things it does to wood and materials. It's great to have a beach house, and one day, if everything goes perfectly right, maybe that'll happen for us. But at this point, we looked at it and said, this is kind of a maintenance nightmare, and that's not what we're into, even though we do want to be down here. So what we ended up deciding to do was actually purchase a place in Merida proper, kind of Merida Centro is what it's called. And we're in an area that is close to the historic district, but a little outside of it too. You know, I might be saying, well, you never stayed in the city. Why on God's green earth would you decide that this is the moment, this is the time that you're going to buy in a city where you've never stayed long term? First of all, as I've said in other videos, my wife and I are very strange. We've made decisions like this throughout our entire relationship, before marriage, during marriage, the whole thing. So we kind of know where we're coming from, but we also got to the city and just realized that this was a place that we really, really loved. And because it was a place that we loved, we knew that as long as we got into the certain area that we felt most comfortable, not just living in, but also, and let me clarify this real quick, also investing in, meaning that we had to look at this as something that, because we can't move down there immediately, because this was either let's take it and know that we're going to be down there for in a couple of years, or in retirement or snowbird, whatever it might be, we need to make sure that this place can get rented out too. So we looked around, did a lot of research on designs and layouts of houses down there that tend to rent pretty well, asked a lot of questions from our real estate agent, from our architect, and really nailed down exactly the design. Now, for those of you who follow this channel, you probably know it's taken forever. And also, for those of you who follow this channel, or don't follow this channel rather, and this may be your first time, please feel free to give me a like and subscribe down below and hit the little notification bell. If you like the content, that will let you know anytime one of these videos goes live. But we ended up just deciding, we know that we've been through this before. We know it's going to be a hassle, but let's find the house. We found the house. It was a great layout. We found the architect. We were happy, and we still are stoked about being down there. But it has taken a while, and we're this week getting permits. Please, I hope so. Anyway, getting back to it, we decided to be down there. Well, best thing to do, as I said in the last video, is if you know that you want to be in a city, one of the best things that you can do is rent in different areas and for an extended period of time. That way, you know exactly where you want to be, and otherwise. Well, we already put the cart before the horse. We already bought the place. So this trip that we're taking later this summer is going to be us kind of pushing ourselves, and actually our family and friends are going to come down for part of the trip too. But for 3 weeks, we're going to stay in downtown Merida. I'm not going to give you the exact location, but I will say that we're kind of in the more historic district, in the more popular zone, just off one of the main roads. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we're staying down there. It's going to be a really good trip. We're around a lot of different places where you can walk to the grocery store, you can walk to shops, whatever it might take or whatever you might need, it's right there. So you might notice there's a stark contrast between this. Now, we had the choice of, we knew that we were going to stay in our home in Chenbec in Merida. But we made the decision for this trip because we knew that we wanted to have a 3-week engagement to figure out exactly what we liked, figure out what the lifestyle in that area is like. We already know we're going to like it, but making sure that our family and friends get used to it as well, or I shouldn't say get used to it, that was probably wrong. Making sure our friends and family enjoy it. That's better, right? Yeah, I think it's better. But making sure our friends and family enjoy it, and they enjoy it with us too, so that we can show them around the city that we have already fallen in love with, because it was love at first sight, to be very honest with you. So why am I making this video talking to you about 2 different vacations? Well, the number one reason is this. One of my favorite things about this city, about the state of Yucatan, is that there not only are there so many things to do in the area, but there are so many ways to have a vacation. And normally you're kind of limited, right? If you go on vacation, you're going to a city, you're going to a beach, you're going to the mountains. Yucatan, you will not find mountains. It's a very flat state. But when it comes to city or beach, and I actually did a video about purchasing on the city or beach where we talked about some of the pros and cons of each choice. But, oh, we're going to put it right there. Yeah, cool. That's the video. If you want to go check that one out too. But I'm a ridiculous person. But getting back to it, that's one of the reasons that I really like this area. If you go and you fly into Merida, the airport's downtown. It's very close to get to almost everywhere in the central district of Merida. But that's where we're going to be. So you fly in, you're about a 15-minute drive to your house, hotel, whatever it might be, Airbnb, but you're very close there. But at the same time, that's the historic district. So you get this beautiful colonial city with fantastic streets, with beautiful architecture, all kinds of things that I discussed in other videos. But once you follow from the northern district, you go along this nice highway, and that's going to get you to the beach. But along the way, you're going to see gated communities that have golf courses. I think there's 2 right there. And then once you get to Progreso, that's kind of the northernmost point before you hit the ocean. That's the beach town. And if you want to go to Progreso for a day during your trip, or you want to stay up there for a weekend and just grab a hotel for a few days, you can do that all within the span of one trip. Go to the beach, go to the colonial town, go to the more modern northern district, and that's in a day or a week or a month, whatever you want to do. So that's why when we looked at Merida, this beautiful city that we fell in love with almost immediately, we decided that it wasn't just a great place to let's buy a house, renovate it, and use it for a short-term rental place, and that way we can make money. That wasn't it at all. That was the way that we could do it. That was the way that it made sense to us to make up for when we stay down there for several months or full-time eventually. But the reason that we fell in love with the city was because you can do so many things in a day's trip, in a week's trip, in a month's trip. It's all limited by what you want to do and the amount of hours in a day. If you want to take a trip to an hour away from the central area, you can go see cenotes. There's these beautiful lakes that were caused by the crater at Chicxulub. That's where the crater is that killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. So you have that too. And that's just a little town near Progreso. So there's all kinds of different areas. There's all kinds of reasons to be an expat where you move there permanently. There's tons of reasons to be a snowbird where you're there in the winter when it's terrible up here and it's fantastic down there. And there's reasons just to travel there because there is so much to do. And I don't think you'll ever run out of things that can entertain you and your family and your friends if they come down with you as well. So guys, that's the video. My name is Alexander Howell. Again, please feel free to visit me at these social media links. At Alexander from KC is where you can find me. Text me at 816-727-7740. I won't say it again. You got to join the Facebook group, facebook.com/travel to Merida with the number 2, and I should probably reverse it for the camera. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't be able to tell because I'm a terrible writer, but Travel to Merida is the name of the Facebook group. And always feel free to send me a message via the contact us page at alexanderhowell.com. All that does is send me an email directly to me. And last but not least, please feel free, like and subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell. That's going to let you know anytime one of these videos comes out or I start streaming again as well. So, and that way, if you get on and I'm streaming, you just ask me any question that you want and I'll answer it live, or we'll look it up together or whatever. just to come in and say hi. Anyway, thanks again to all of you that communicated with me about all of these things. I've actually got several questions that you have answered, or several questions that you've presented normally on the YouTube comment section, asking about different things for these videos. And this is the reason that this one was presented. So thank you all for being a part of this community and a part of this channel. And as always, peace.